Hello and welcome to the Voice It podcast, a backstage pass to the lives of people in the Clare Valley and the Mid-North who've started businesses from scratch and turned them into a success. I'm your host, Annabelle Homer. If you've ever wanted to know how to start your own clothing business, listen to this episode. Today you get to meet Bronwyn Campbell. We're here at Sassy Lass and to be honest, I'm quite excited about talking to you.
Thank you.
Because I've heard so much about Sassy Lass.
Oh dear,
and
now I've got something to live up to.
But also how much you've brought to the town and even for a different generation of people as well. And you must hear that a lot, do you?
Yeah, and that's really good because that's what I hope to do. I mean, we can all buy clothes anywhere, really. And in this day and age with the World Wide Web, you can just go online and buy it. But I felt that customer service has been lost. And I grew up in the Mallee, so I'm a rural girl originally, and I just feel that rural communities need a little spot that the girls can feel girly. And yeah, it's not just about buying clothes, it is a community thing. So yeah, I'm glad that you said that.
Bron started Sassy Lass 5 years ago as an excuse to sell a few clothes and drink bubbles with her friends. Never did she imagine such growth and success over that period. But you'll also hear about Bron's life before Sassy Lass. Once a hairdresser, being a mother to a daughter with Down syndrome, how she ended up in Riverton in the first place, and how she manoeuvred the business around COVID. She is a breath of fresh air who brings a lot to the town of Riverton and surrounding areas with her support for people in need and her contributions to charities. Enjoy the journey with this Sassy Lass. Bron, do you mind me talking?
No, Bron is, yep.
How did you end up being in Riverton? What's your story?
I grew up in Lameroo, born in Pinaroo, moved to Adelaide for work like most girls do. So my background, 30 years of hairdressing, so customer service is there. Had my own salons, worked in the city, then moved to wrapping and technical side of hairdressing. So I taught apprentices and hairdressing classes for a company. Used to travel all of South Australia rurally with that job, teaching colour and hair extensions and that sort of thing. And so my heart was always in the country, loved the city, and probably a really good thing that I moved there at the age that I did. I think I would have got into all sorts of trouble. The city, yes. So the city was good for me at the time, but my heart was always in the country, and I loved my country trips when I was working.
How did you end up in?
How did I end up here?
Full time?
So yeah, I was married for 20 years. That marriage ended,
and that was in Adelaide.
And that was in Adelaide. Yes, remarried, and my hubby had been really ill. He'd had a battle with cancer, and he's fine now. Mm-hmm. I have a daughter who happens to have Down syndrome. So she's my eldest daughter. She's 30, and I have another daughter, Alexandra, who's 28. So after my first marriage ended, I probably would have loved to have moved a little bit more country then. But for Danielle's needs, the city was still the place to be, I thought, at that stage. And then after my husband Andrew was so ill, I sort of had 12 months off looking after him. And he's originally from Virginia. So I just thought, why don't we just do the move now? Let's just do this. So we did. And my mum and dad retired, travelled and ended up in Riverton. So that's how I knew about Riverton, travelled to Riverton, loved it the first time I visited.
What was it about Riverton that you loved?
I really don't know. I think even the drive to Riverton from Adelaide is just a pretty drive. Look, I've driven Lameroo runs. That's not a pretty drive, so this was pretty nice. And just the people, I don't know, I just loved it. We've since found out that my great-great-great-grandfather settled Giles Corner, so it's almost bizarrely we've all sort of kind of come home, which was random. Yeah.
What, you found out that afterwards?
Yeah, Mum did a bit of genealogy stuff and found that out. So that was really a bit bizarre. But yeah, we love it up here. I really enjoy it.
So both your daughters, are they in Adelaide?
Danielle lives with us, so she's up here, and she now works in Clare, that was Woodworks, and it's now Clare Valley Enterprises. So she loves that, and that's why I say I thought she was best in Adelaide. I think she's had a much better lifestyle up here. She loves it. Living in the town, everyone sort of looks out for her and knows her. She can catch the bus to Adelaide to her dad's, and it's really good. She has a really good life up here as well. So that's been a good thing.
And what was it like being a mother to a Down syndrome child and from another mother to another mother?
Yes.
So what was it like back in those days when you were found out and you knew there was a long road ahead of you?
Definitely.
What goes through your mind?
Well, you're shocked at first. Of course, when you fall pregnant, we all have a concern that I hope the baby's healthy. You know, people are, do you want a boy or a girl? I want a healthy baby. You know, that really played in my mind. I was like, yeah, I really did want a healthy baby. And we were the first of anyone in our family or friends to have a child. So I think we freaked everybody out and probably scared them. But my attitude, again, probably just shone through, and it's like, well, it is what it is. She's my daughter and I love her, so she's going to be fine. She was actually born with duodenal atresia and a small hole in the heart as well. So, and I had to have a cesarean. It was prior to the Women's and Children's being amalgamated, so I had to have her at the Queen Vic. She was taken straight from me to have surgery, microsurgery. So that was probably the worst. You know, you're told this bombshell, or there's this and this, and we've got to take your baby from you. That was probably the hardest part.
Did you know that she was Down syndrome
No.
after?
They said when she was born that they there was a possibility. They weren't sure. They had to do the testing and everything. So it was just like, it was like a bad dream. It was like the happiest day of your life just became your worst nightmare. I was just really fortunate. I have fantastic family and friends, and everyone was just positive and supportive. You hear lots of terrible stories of people going through tragic situations where they actually lose friends and family because they can't deal with things, but everybody was fantastic. And you look back and you think, yeah, it was a really hard time. I was angry. That's how I deal with things. I get angry at no one in particular. It's just, that's how I deal with it. It's almost like a grief because you're grieving the baby you thought you were going to have. And I guess at the end of the day, I just thought, well, what do you want? I think for me, I thought, oh, she won't be able to do this. She won't be able to do that. I'm filling in her baby book. Will she understand it? And then I learnt really early on to not think like that, because she amazed me with everything, all the surgery she went through, how strong she was, how she got over it. I was suffering with this cesarean scar, and she's been, got a big zipper on her tummy, and she's wriggling around and she's fine. And I was like, yeah, no, she'll be fine. And the nurses one day commented on how great I was with her, and your family's so positive. And I said, oh, well, she's my baby and I love her. What else are you going to do? And I said, all I want is for my child to be happy. And I said, she'll be happy.
Yeah.
And she is. And she's a tripper. She's sassy too, don't worry. I actually say that she would be dangerous if she didn't have Down syndrome. So,
and she's lived a pretty full life.
Yeah, she's quite independent. She still lives with us, but she's in the process, she wants to be independently living, and it's probably me that finds that difficult, not her. She has a great life, yeah. She really does. And I think back to the way I thought when she was a baby, and I was like, oh my God, what were you worried about? And so much has happened probably for someone now. If they had a baby with Down syndrome 30 years on, I had early intervention and a lot of help from the Down Syndrome Society that wasn't there 5 or 10 years prior to that. She went mainstream school for primary school, and then a unit at the Golden Grove High School. So, things all the time are developing, and we all have to cope with what we're dealt, and you just get on with it. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And your other daughter?
And she loves coming up for visits. When we first moved up here, she was still studying. She's done her Bachelor of Psychology and still moving forward with that with her work. And she would come up here in the holidays, and she was working at Skilligalee, and she's done a few little hospitality jobs around the place, but she's now got her own place at Salisbury, so she pops up for visits, which is really lovely.
So why did you decide to get out of hairdressing?
My back and my neck. I think it was, and allergies. I do have some autoimmune problems, and I just felt it was getting to be a little bit of a strain on my body. So that's probably why I sort of went from hairdressing to the repping and technical side of it, because I loved it. I still would. I just love it's the colour and creation. It's the creativity, which is obviously I get again now from having all these beautiful clothes around me, and the styling and helping people. I think that's the power of a good haircut and colour.
And also talking.
That's right. It's that communication
and the social interaction.
For sure, yeah. So I get all of that again now, which is really good.
How long were you in Riverton before you decided, I might start up my own business?
I always have these ideas that I need to have a break and not do anything, and that doesn't last very long with me. I'm a doer. I've just got to accept that. So we were up here, I guess, 18 months or so, and probably started doing some of the markets here with a little bit of giftware and ladies' accessories just to get out and meet people. Being a bit older, coming here and not having school kid age children rather, it's a bit trickier to go out and meet people. So, and being a bit social, I kind of had to do that. So that was probably how it started, and realised that there wasn't at that point really much around here for giftware, and definitely not fashion. Claire, yes, but not around here. And it just sort of progressed from there. I actually, at the time, down at the cafe, put some giftware and stuff down in there. The ladies' accessories and everything just took off. Started to do a few showings from my home, which just grew. And then it was a matter of, I really need to, like, my house was getting taken over. So I was looking for a spot and the bank came up, and that's when we started. So nearly 5 years later. Now.
5 years. It's been 5 years.
Yeah.
And you've nearly outgrown this place.
We
by the
have.
looks of it.
It needs to be like those caravans that you push the sides out. We need to be able to do that. We're very full.
This store is chock-a-block of beautiful, beautiful things, and I love the chandeliers hanging from the ceiling. And
yes, it's a beautiful old building, and it's nice to bring it back to life.
Sassy Lass. How did that name come up?
I can be a bit sassy and it covers a lot of what goes on in here. We're cheeky and have fun, and we have our own little sense of style, but yeah, I'm sassy. I've always been a bit sassy. I've been open-minded, broad-minded. I'll say what I think. I don't like to offend people, but I'm very honest, and sometimes that might offend people. I don't mean it to, but yeah, I am sassy. And we like to have fun, you know. My thing is one life, live it. You don't know how long you've got here. You may as well enjoy it. And I think that you should, you know, along the way be nice to people and make everyone else's life a little bit happier on the way. And my thing was here, if people come in, you can have a browse. You don't need to purchase. But if you leave feeling happier than when you came in, my job's done. So...
But how did you know how to start? You said you had some giftware, and going from hairdressing to technical work with the hairdressing industry to then giftware and fashion. How do you take that step and know what sells and what people are interested in?
In between all of that, I forgot to mention, I actually studied horticulture and conservation land management full time. Of course you did. Because that's what you do. Not with the intention to work with that, but just when we moved up here, I found just the different climate and everything challenging. So I did that. So I was doing that while I was selling giftware and homewares and stuff, just for something to do. With an idea
of what working in the horticultural industry, a garden shop?
Just for something to do, yeah. Okay. So I like to keep busy, and, yeah, I can't be idle. So it was just really, I guess, talking with people and at the markets and just noticing that, yeah, that was a thing around here that we didn't have. And being a country girl, I always loved going to, well, at that stage it was Murray Bridge or Adelaide, and the clothing, you know, getting excited, and just even a new pair of earrings, how good it makes you feel. So that's probably the start of it. And then just put the feelers out, and I thought, you know what, you just got to take a leap. You don't know. It's not food. It's not going to perish. If it doesn't work, we put it all out on sale and we go, well, that was fun. But that didn't happen. So,
and I guess you've got to strike that balance too of affordability as well as quality.
Yeah, there's so much to consider when it comes to the everything.
Especially in a conservative environment.
Yes.
Such as, you know, regional South Australia.
That's right. It's that's probably difficult, and to be honest, I was just really lucky, and what I thought there was a niche in, it was what people wanted. So for me, it was about, probably my demographic has come in even younger than what I imagined. I thought it was probably going to be sort of 45 to 65-year-olds, but we have right through from 20s. But what my focus was for myself, with my health issues and then getting to that special age where we start to get these little hot flushes, etc., your clothing focus changes because you still want to be fashionable, but you need cool things, you need layers, you need loose things, your body shape's not the same as before you had the kids and all of that sort of thing. So the main thing was good quality fabrics and cottons and linens and good rayons that are breathable, shapes and styling that can suit many different shaped women's and height, and there's so much to consider with women and their styling. And then we've all got personal taste. So some people love bright things and prints, and some people like block colours and plain. So there's a lot. When I pick my clothing, it's like schizophrenia up in here. Like I have everybody's little voices at me. I need length in my shirt. I don't like my arms. But it
kind of stress me out.
So there's a lot. There's a lot to think about, and I actually don't like clothes shopping. So that was probably where those voices came from, and what made me go, well, what don't I like? I don't like going in and out and getting changed a million times in a different shop every 5 minutes. I want to go to one place and get most of my outfits. So that's why there's so much in here. We sort of try, and you can come in and get a lot of your robe. You don't just come in and you've just got tops, for example. Yeah. And we help style people. That's what we love to do. There's myself, Jules, and Vanessa, and it's dear Vanessa that's having her little struggle at the moment with breast cancer. And customer service is what we all love. My sister-in-law Jules now works up here. My brother and her moved up here just before COVID last year. And she's been a great asset to the business. She's always been in retail. That's what we love to do.
Have you struggled getting staff, or have you been very much supported in that regard?
Really, it's been easy. When I first started, it was supposed to be a hobby, a little cover for me drinking champagne with my girlfriends during the day. And unfortunately, I don't have time for that much now. So
surely there's still a
don't
wine
worry,
bottle behind the counter.
That certainly happens, and COVID's messed that up a bit, but usually on the weekends we have the bubbles out. It's good fun. Yeah, it just took off running right from the beginning, so it was really needed, and my focus was on a sort of 150k radius of people to project to, because coming from the country, I know that we need businesses in town to keep the little towns alive, but you can't rely on the country. People don't need clothes every day. It's not like the grocery store. So I've sort of relied on social media these days, and the fact that I know a lot of people from all around the state, really, and those friends have brought up friends, and then those friends bring up friends, and it just spread. It went crazy. So it was supposed to be a quiet little thing that's become quite a big thing.
Your little empire.
Yeah. But I love it.
I presume you would have had to go online and have online shopping. COVID, that forced you to go down that track?
It did, because, being online, that's really for us with all the stock that comes in, that's a job in itself. And with a staff member down, I'm actually really behind. It's me that does all of that, and I'm really behind with that this year. Things are moving out before I can get it up there. But
that's probably a good position
that is
to
a
be
good
in.
It is a good thing. But that was something that COVID last year was a big shock. And talking to you before about indent buying,
which is
with the clothing, you can go to town or ring or go online and contact wholesalers and purchase in pieces, or you can indent one, which is what I did after a couple of years because we went through so much stock. And indenting is choosing your clothing from sample stock around about 9 months ahead of the seasons, and then they're then made in India or wherever for you and arrive ready for you to sell. So when you indent order, you're committed to that stock, and it's many thousands of dollars worth of stock. So COVID last year hit when we were in summer. We hadn't finished summer. All of my indent stock for winter was arriving at the doorstep. Many tens of thousands of dollars worth of stock, and we were closing the doors. So that was a really, I was certainly not alone, but that was a really daunting time, and it just meant, okay, we're very much customer service based, so our online presence isn't huge. People come in for that one-on-one help. So I had to really get on top of our online store, really update that, as well as I offered one-on-one personal appointments for people to come in. Just with the two of us, I would do personal shopping and, minimal contact with people and the clothing. And look, we ended up last year increasing. We were closed, I think, 7 weeks total. And with my autoimmune stuff, I had to be careful. So we still ended up increasing our turnover quite a bit last year. So that was amazing and a very humbling experience, I might say. The customers and community were fantastic. People were buying, which I don't see until I go into the back end of the online store. When gift cards are purchased, that sort of just slides through the radar. I hadn't realised until we reopened how many people that couldn't shop were trying to support and keep the money flow going just by purchasing gift cards so that when they could come out and shop, they could. So it was an incredibly tough time, but also a really good time for realising how resilient you can be and the resources, and had to get up in front of the camera and put clothes on to show people. And you know, it's amazing what you can do when you have to.
So where do your customers mainly come from? I mean, how far afield have you sold pieces to?
All over Australia pieces go, but we have, say on a daily basis, we will have ladies from Port Elliot, Victor Harbour, Murray Bridge, Boolaroo Centre over on the coast, all around. Yeah, probably up to 150 Ks they'll come with a carload and have a girls' day, and then they'll go to the cafe or one of the hotels, and it's lovely. So it's really good for the town.
Yeah. That's, over the 5 years, what was the hardest year and why?
I think probably, even though COVID last year was such an eye-opening and unseeable thing, nobody knew that was coming. I think everybody just struggled through and you had to keep going. I think this year, with that 1 week closure that we had,
yes,
I think that was probably, I guess, with the accumulation of stress from last year, it was just like, oh no, you know, here we go again. That's cool. We know what to do. We did it last year. And then all of a sudden we were open again, and I was like, oh, that's great. But what it did do was scare the population, and we were all of a sudden having to wear masks. And I think people were, oh, well, we'll wait until we don't have to wear a mask before we go out shopping again because this is all too hard. So it really messed with the flow, not just with us, any business locally or anywhere have all said that messed up the spending flow way more than last year did. And you start to think, well, what have I done wrong? Is it me? Is it something? You know, it's just the world. But yeah, there hasn't been any horrendous things. And I think probably too, just having Vanessa ill, just different things this year it's just seemed harder, you know. But
do you want to talk about Vanessa?
Yeah, well, Vanessa's a very brave young lady, and this is actually her second battle with cancer. She's only in her mid-40s. A part of what I like to do in Sassy Lass is puts you in a position of being able to help and also, I guess, promote different thoughts and ideas of what's going on when you're on social media and people get to know what's going on. I've always fundraised behind the scenes, and also sometimes we pop up what we're doing, raised a lot of money for different things over the years. We've done breast cancer a couple of times through Breast Cancer Network, as well as just different. There's so many different people to support with breast cancer, but we've also, with the bushfires at the beginning of last year, we all of interstate, and then they hit Kangaroo Island and all the pre-COVID stuff that we almost forget about.
That is so true. We do, don't
we? We raised, I think, about $8,000 for 5 different, animal rescue and Red Cross and different things. We did Heart Kids for Valentine's Day this year. I just like, you're in a spot, people know you, and you can just promote things, and I think that's really good. So this time we're doing it for one of ours. I contacted a lot of my wholesalers who kindly donated lots of goodies. We've got about, in this particular one, we've got about $1,300 worth of prizes that we've just been asking people if they want to make a $10 donation, they'll go in the draw. What we wanted to do was raise the accommodation money for Vanessa, because after her chemotherapy and surgery, she'll need radiotherapy for 9 weeks in town. And she's, I think, 12 or 15 kilometres short of being far enough away to get a grant for that. So we had that goal in mind, and then if we raised further money, we were going to buy her some hair. So it looks like we're on track we've done the accommodation and the hair, which is fantastic.
Well,
so thank you all of our beautiful community and Sassy Lass girls, because there's been people that don't know Vanessa that have just read about it on our social media and have rung or deposited money for it. So, it's important. And
what's the next stage if you've done the accommodation?
Well, the poor girl's also had the chemotherapy has done a lot of damage with her teeth and a whole heap of... There's so much that happens that people don't realise. So I think there's lots of things, and she's on her own, so she needs support, and And, you know, if we get extra and we've got everything covered, it'll go to Breast Cancer Network or the McGrath Foundation. We'll just push it on through the other avenues for research or support for other rural women.
Well done.
That's just what we're doing at the moment, yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time? Starting off as just a side thing, an excuse to hang out with your friends and drink some bubbles, to now running this little mini fashion empire in the town of Riverton. And you've done so well over the last 5 years. Where will you be, do you think, or where would you like to be in 10 years?
I'd like to be over in Europe, relaxing, drinking on some beautiful Greek island or something. I don't know. Mediterranean. I actually don't know, because this was not the it wasn't the plan. I love it.
But
it's not work.
Isn't that exhilarating?
It is. I'm so lucky to be doing something that I love every day. And I always say to, you know, my daughters or anybody, you know, looking for a career, do something you love. If you can do something you love, you're so lucky, because you work for a long time. You may as well enjoy it. So I'll just keep on doing what I'm doing, and yeah, when the time comes, we'll just see. We'll just let it run its course. And
there won't be plans for a Sassy Lass chain of stores.
I've had lots of people saying, "We need you here. We need you here." No, that's too much. I've got to reel it in. And that's the thing, and that's the difficult thing. Probably last year and then this year, wanting it to just be a small business and it surpassing what it was meant to be. And I'm not prepared to go further.
Yeah.
I want to keep it as it is. I want to keep it personal. So, yeah, that was difficult, sort of pulling the reins in when something's doing so well. It seemed a bit wrong. But at my
That's
age
clever.
and stage, you know, and health, I need to be sensible for once. It took me 55 years to be sensible. But and people still beg to differ that I am. So, yeah, I don't know where I'll be at that time. I really would like to do some travelling as soon as we can, but you know, I've got good staff and people that can take care of it at the moment if I need to do that. But
well, Bron, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking
Thank
to you
you.
and getting to know you and your story and the success that you've had here at Sassy Lass, and well done. That's all I can say is bravo.
Yeah, I pat myself on the back sometimes. I just can't believe it, and I'm very fortunate, and we live in a great state and a great community. And, it's everybody, not just me, that helps Sassy Lass become what it is. It's great. I enjoy it.
Bronwyn Campbell, the owner of Sassy Lass in Riverton. Such a fun afternoon, and she's got some beautiful pieces of clothing and plus plenty of accessories in her store as well. So next time you're in Riverton, pop in and say hi, or maybe organise a carload of friends and make a day of it. And just letting you know, this interview was recorded at the end of last year in December 2021. And Vanessa, as you would have heard, was battling cancer. Well, we've just received some information last week. Bron received some good news about Vanessa. After her double mastectomy, they feel that they've got all the cancer. Bron is elated to hear that news, and she certainly has a lot more to go through, but finally some good news for Vanessa. And hopefully more good news will follow. I hope you enjoyed this episode, as there's plenty more to come over the next couple of months. If you'd like to find out more about me, there's my website, voiceit.me. I'm a former ABC radio journalist and presenter. I now run my own business called Voiceit, specialising in podcast production, audio memoirs for families. I run public speaking sessions for adults and teenagers, and I also run a drama hub for children. Please get in contact if any of those interest you at all. Catch you next time.